That was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be like a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have
Corrupt
sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
My name is Mayanda Mazwi. I am currently working at Equal Education as the head of youth group. I am 21 years old.
My name is Sihle. I'm finally doing my matric this year. I'm a dancer. Dancing is in my blood.
Well, my name is Bongi and I'm not working. Not that I'm unemployed. I am a student at Bulumko Senior Secondary School doing grade 11 and I am 17 years old.
My name is Anele. I'm still a student in Bulumko Secondary School. I'm doing grade 11. Yeah, and I like fashion, I like hip-hop, and I'm still working on being a hip-hop artist.
As young people today, we express ourselves through music, specifically hip-hop. Hip-hop tells you the reality of your life, the reality of how we live as young people, and how we cope with our stresses and with our differences.
And it's not all about the serious things like empowering us or like discussing issues whereby black people are affected, socially and all around the world, but it's also about the dance.
Yeah,
I can also enjoy hip-hop. You can also life, yes, the party life, yes, it's just everything. Yeah,
there's crunk hip-hop and there's contemporary hip-hop, of which conscious hip-hop is the one that they talk about
and also underground hip-hop, like
which is on the conscious underground. The music that's about life, about things that concern people. And crunk hip-hop is the one that doesn't care. They're all about weed, fuck, drugs and all about the alcohol, about those stuff. And commercial hip-hop is the other ones that just smooth, the KO kind of type of people, aka of which that's what I said earlier, that it depends on what hip hop we fall for. Sometimes some people just fall for the hip hop that goes for alcohol, drugs, and all those things. And for a 15-year-old to follow that thing, it depends on the parenting from home. It might happen that child is not being taken care of. They don't treat the child as a child. They're just giving him the way. He might fall in. But as for instance me, I know how I grew up. How I was disciplined. I was disciplined in a certain way, but I listened to hip hop and I didn't fall for drugs. So it depends on what home ground you from.
Each and every time I listen to hip hop, my blood flows in me. Like I want to dance right now. Like hip hop is in my blood. Each and every time I listen to it, it gives me that power. Like this is who you are. This is what God gave you to do. So hip hop is not just like me wearing swaggy pants, all that stuff. It's me being me.
Hip-hop music has a message behind each and every rhythm, and tune. So of which I believe hip-hop is what explains my life, especially as a person who lives at a township, as a black person mostly, not to be racial, but it tells my day-to-day life, sometimes, and without discussing it with anybody else, without having to ask somebody to listen, but just to put on my earphones, listen to that music, and then after that feel like I'm me.
Swearing in our days is not a big deal, especially when it comes to hip hop. Hip hop is that's the music that we love. That's those harsh words, those swearing words. That's what we want to hear. That's how you want to express yourself with. So if is wrong, then I'm sorry. Like that's the reality.
Okay, most of the times you find men in their music talking about bitches and all that. It's just the word, Sometimes people just hear the word and take it on their own. That's about introspection. Like what do you believe the word means? Because I think they're just complimenting them. They're making them like a priority. Like if you ain't got no bitch, that means you just nothing in life. So to me, that thing, it's like saying, if you don't love women, you're nothing to the life, So you have to love women, whether you're into them or not, So I believe most of the time that thing is a compliment, and sometimes it's about marketing, If it's got the word bitch and fuck in it and weed, it's sellable, And if it ain't got that word, and got nothing that has to do with that, it won't be sold. It's more like you're just doing it for fun, like a hobby. You might as well record on your phone and just listen to yourself, you know.
There are also women who are also calling other women bitches and complimenting themselves, which is nice when coming from them, because it might mean something different because it's coming from a male. Do you get what I mean? So now when they call themselves bitches, it makes more sense, and maybe it's comfortable, and that's I like it that way.
Yeah, as Fifi Cooper has said, you know, I'm gonna quote her now. She said that if you think you're confident enough to be yourself in front of a crowd, then you might as well accept that you're a bitch, you know? Yeah. To me, that is like trying to move the stigma of people believing that the bitch word is like a curse, which I think is so like, it's so like back in the centuries, that thing, because now it's like the 21st century. You shouldn't take any offense from that thing, you know? I think mostly the word is just a way of saying that just live life as it is, you know. Even if people are calling you bitch, just go on, move on, you know.
You can't sing about sex whereas you're a woman, because like people will think like, okay, she's a slut, she's a whore, like she's a bitch. So you have to sing about love. You can't like sing about sex, because people will look at you in a different kind of way. Like, okay, you sing about sex, you love sex, you're a bitch, like.
But man, they do sing about sex, man, but in a different way. You find Nicki Minaj say fuck me, I'm twerking, all that kind of stuff. Twerking is something like, I wanna fuck you. You can't find a girl.
And sometimes in a hip hop, like when you're singing about love and just love, it's boring, you know. It's like now you're tilting hip hop to jazz, to blues, to R&B, you know, that
soul.
You know, so I believe that if there's a little bit of naughtiness in that music and it's about love, so it might be sellable, but mostly it shouldn't be about love. And most women now lately, they do sing about such stuff as in sex, drugs, you know, day-to-day life, and besides mentioning things about love, you know, of which it's to me it's giving an idea that hip-hop is now evolving.
I think that the reason why there are no women in hip-hop, and slowly but surely they're getting there, I think that it has to do with fear of expressing yourself in a different way, because women, we used to women as people who cry, as people who takes time to voice out their opinion, or they voice out their opinion by crying or just by silence. Do you get what I mean? But now, you know, us, we are always those guys who are tough, who hardcore, who wants to say things, right now, and we want to we want to explore your anger right now. It takes a time for a woman, that's a reality. But the fact that they are slowly moving to that direction, it means that they are starting to realize what hip hop means and what singing, you're singing about your views, it means.
I also think women don't have don't get the motivation which they need to have to be like in hip hop. They are so laid back that they are so scared to like go on the stage, do what they love, and
You know what's weird? You know, in my home, my mom and my dad are reverends, but when I listen to hip hop, especially when I'm washing dishes, they don't tell me anything like shut that music off or something. I believe my parents trust me, you know, that I would never fall in this thing. You know, it doesn't affect me, this, you know, music, and it's all about trust, yo. It's all about trust. Because if they trust you that, okay, you're old enough for this, you know, you wouldn't fall for those words, you know, and that thing won't affect your life.
When you are told that do not do something, we want to do it.
That's the actual time you want to explore and you want to experience.
The minute that you say that you can't listen to this music, but you can't do this thing, you want to know what's behind. They can't. Do you get what I mean? What's behind? What's being hidden here?
What's gonna happen if I listen to this?
What's gonna happen if I'm gonna listen to this music? And I think that, you know, parents are slowly moving away from that, from saying that you can't do something.
And you know, nowadays, like, parents don't like tell you to like take this choice or take that choice. They only groom you as a person. But you decide what you want to be. like in future.
Even now, bro, they buy us the Karakara socks, you know, the Karakara socks that KO wears. They even buy us those socks so we can look swaggy enough to be like hip hop kids, you know, like.
Does that say that sometimes something that you watch and something that you listen to gets to you and you want to explore that further? That, you know, when you hear words or when someone does something in front of you, you're gonna tend to do it. I think the youth of today is stronger than that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, you know, the youth of today is stronger than that. The youth of today is able to see what's wrong, what's right, what's black, what's white.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a matter of choice. We all know that we are surrounded by gangs, but it doesn't mean we're all
Gonna be
gangsters. We're all surrounded by people who use, you know, tick, who use other drugs, but it doesn't mean we also use those drugs. Those people live in our houses. Those people live in our streets. Those people sell these drugs in front of us, but it doesn't mean that we can be drug dealers. We are also contributing into, do you get what I mean, to gangsters and so on. But I believe that, you know, sometimes music, you can choose what you want to learn from music, and hip hop is that music, because it's always about negative and positive at the same time. As you said before, but Proverb is a Christian, but at the same time is able to talk about the confusion of being a Christian, because you don't see this God, but we all praise this God. And at the same time, he's trying to explore that further by saying that, where are you? Show us the way, because we're using drugs, we're using everything. Show us the way. So at the same time is that people tend to look only at the negative side, but they don't listen the words in between, and they don't analyze hip hop.
Hip hop is my extra class in the cost of a download. You know, like what they don't teach me at my home, I also learn from hip hop music. Like, oh, this happens, and sometimes it's exciting to know that what happens here in South Africa, in Khayelitsha, and also happens in New York, in the United States, because New York and like United States is the praised most country, you know, for people like us, who like hip hop, who like, you know, drama and all that things, and of which it's much exciting for me, you know, and it's like the drive for me, you know, to go forward and just to like my country, that it's gay. It's like the other countries, you know, it's not like it's different, it's poor or something, you know, besides the economy part, you know.
I describe like political hip hop as hip hop, like as in like addressing like things which are affecting the community, but like the people sitting there, like the politicians and stuff, are enjoying themselves, like
Doing
it's like
nothing
that.
about it.
Doing nothing
Yeah,
about
there is
and you will find artists like Kendrick Lamar expressing these issues like lyrically, and artists like J. Cole and artists like Wale, they all like address these issues whereby like the communities affected like this.
Political hip hop doesn't have much exposure as the other genre of hip hop, you know, because I think the marketing team itself is just keeping it safe for themselves, you know, because some mention stuff about the presidents, you know, like I'm busy here. Poverty still kicking my stomach, and you're busy building Inkandla.
The minute you start to sing about shacks, you start to sing about Amatyotyombe and the way people live in Khayelitsha, that's political. For me, the fact that you're starting to address the issue of unemployment through your music, through your hip hop, that's political. I mean, that's the political will of South Africa. The fact is, people are sitting in shacks, people are starving, people are not unemployed, and so on. And you find all of those social issues through the hip hop music. We want artists who are real, who are not aligned to anything, who are just singing and who are just real.
My dream is to become a Navy, and also at the same time to be a dancer, well-known dancer, and teach children from Ekasi.
My dream is to become a geoscientist or a climatologist and also travel the world.
Well, my dream is to travel the world.
My dream is to be a lawyer, at the same time pursuing media.
I wish for a better world, where people smiling everywhere, where there's no pain and suffering, children happy as can be. Whoa, justice and loving. Whoa, justice and loving, yeah, yeah.